But this is another politician that you just recently called to the mat, Josh Hawley. If you guys haven't heard about this, he has introduced a bill allowing minors harmed by transition surgeries to sue medical providers.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, I ripped on him mainly because of the blame and shame.
Yes.
Just like I did with, what's his name?
Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
I really get upset when these dudes are like, well, you got to knuckle down and get married and become a man. In today's day and age, you get married, you are literally risking your life. I mean,
well, you're placing your life in someone else's hands.
Yeah, 100%.
And you have to be able to trust them. And some people trust without vetting. And as Me Too has taught us, you should never trust without vetting.
Yep.
Well, that's the biggest problem too, is like, so we have all of these issues of, essentially coming out of like single mother homes. Because like, apparently statistically, if you look at like single father homes, they have a much better chance. It's more on par actually with like 2-parent households with like success rates and stuff like that. But you have this like snowball effect of like, okay, so you have all of these boys being brought up in single mother homes, and they're not getting everything that they need, and they're becoming. There's a lot of men who are not living up to their potential, who are just completely shirking responsibility. And then it creates a snowball effect of like the good men can't find like women because the same type of thing is happening over there. And then women are very entitled. Yeah. And it's this duality of like both sides only see the bad side. You know what I mean? Like the bad women are seeing the bad men, and the bad men are seeing the bad women. But like all the good people are like, We're
just
where
over here
go?
like, what the hell is going on here?
It's insane.
Or if you're if you get into where Pop and I are, we just sit back with a bucket of popcorn and a beer like, hey, look at that motherfucker over
there. I'm just always thankful that I found like I got with my husband when I was so young, and we grew together, and I think like I can't imagine trying to date and not and just be trying to navigate all of this in like your late 20s and stuff like that. It's like that's
it's a dumpster fire
thought, in my opinion.
It's an
absolute dumpster fire.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
And if I have my way, I'm gonna reduce the marriage rates to goddamn zero. All right. And the way that the men of this civilization have been treated for the past 40 years, they should just sit down and only focus on themselves and let it fucking fall.
The laws
just
need
implode.
To change. Yeah, marriage used to be a contract that was mutually beneficial.
Yep.
I mean, you were assured of paternity, loyalty, respect, and in return, the woman she didn't have to worry about going to work for the man.
Nope.
Stay home, raise the children, keep the home. This guy's going to go out and work himself to death and sacrifice himself for you. That is in return for that. So it was mutually beneficial. Everybody was in their roles. Everybody knew exactly what to do. And we were thriving as a nation, as a culture. As soon as you take that away and you put no-fault divorce, and then you offer a welfare net to anybody who's willing to jettison out of that and detonate their husband's life, this is what you get.
Yep.
I think there's actually more problems than that, though, because they've created an economy in which it's almost impossible to not have two working people. It's almost impossible unless you're making at least over $100K a year, which the majority of men do not make. Nope. Then how are you supposed to support your family? It's like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I still work.
See, you said that we have an economy that requires two people working just to stay above.
And we all know where that came from.
Now, when a man gets divorced and gets hit with alimony and child support, he literally winds up on the street. I mean, it happened to me.
Yeah, because you get the half up front, and then over the course of years, the ex-wife gets the other half.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I had to go back into the Army full time because, my BAH, which is a special allowance the Army gives you for a household, all went to child support.
Ugh.
And then I lived on just the base pay. And it was tight. Tight. But I was able to pull it off and make it to my fantastic moment.
Last child support payment.
I wrote the last goddamn child support check like last July.
Winning. But what you were saying, Ashley, about the two incomes thing, that actually goes back to World War II.
Yep.
Before that, it was just the men going out to work, the women stayed home, and then when the men were sent overseas, the women had to go to work, and all of a sudden the powers that be in this country were like, we have this unexploited resource of workers. How can we get them to enter the marketplace, thereby increasing the number of potential applicants, qualified or not, for each job, so that we can start paying people less and less? Oh, I know. We'll incentivize them leaving the home by giving them a welfare net, and then we're going to make no-fault divorce legal in all 50 states.
And by 1978, it was.
There you go.
Do you know what also happened around World War II? Is the sexual revolution.
Oh, yeah.
It started.
So Alfred Kinsey released two books. What is it? Human Sexuality, or like male sexuality, or I can't. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the names. But Alfred Kinsey wrote two books, one about male sexuality, one about female sexuality. A few years later, and he essentially used pools of playground lurkers who were in prison, and then he essentially fabricated the statistics and made it seem as if men were like very homosexual in nature and had all of these strange tendencies.
And sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey, give me I need to take a piss break.
You take a piss break. We'll let her finish your point.
All right. Sorry, ma'am.
You're good.
You're fine. So like I've learned a lot about him, and he really had a huge influence. He also had a huge influence on like sex education going into schools, on like SA laws being relaxed actually as well. And I think like all of that just ties in. I think that these issues that we're dealing with today, there's so many different factors and variables that play into them. And I hear a lot of people bring up a lot of really good points, but I think it's all just a huge conglomeration of a bunch of things that happened all at the same time. And it's just come to such a head at this point.
Yeah. I mean, trying to narrow it down to any one thing is going to sound reductionist, because this has been ongoing now for decades. So you can't narrow it down to any one thing. It is a collaboration of multiple elements.
Yeah. And it just kept getting progressively worse as well. And I'm not really one, like, I don't think like masculinity and femininity fit into neat boxes. I think that there are just, everybody has a, kind of a spattering of both characteristics and traits and interests. It just depends,
Yeah, but you can express those differently and not be a different gender. That's where I take issue with the shit that we're seeing now.
And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I've got my niece has the short hair, her husband has the long hair, but they're both as innately masculine and feminine, respectively, as anybody will ever meet. They didn't claim to be a different gender because she got a crop top or whatever. I mean, she didn't look Vulcan or anything, or like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber, but she had the shorter hair. So it's just hysterical.
And it's one of those things. It's like, can you just let people just be whoever they are and whoever they want to be? And I think it does well to like encourage people like, hey guys, it's a good thing to be masculine. It's a good thing to lean into some of these characteristics.
Yes.
It's a good thing to know how to like get healthy outlets for things like anger, because a lot of women, actually, it kind of frustrates me in a way, is that they do not understand that men's emotions come out in the majority of anger. Like that's your go-to emotion. That's how it ends up coming to the surface. Whereas ours is more like being upset and crying and kind of just being wanting to talk about our feelings and stuff. And a lot of men they don't want to talk. It doesn't even matter how safe that they feel with you or how much they trust you. A lot of dudes just don't want to talk about that.
And people are very different when they come to you with problems. Like when my wife comes to me with problems, I will literally be like, okay, before I even throw my hat in this fucked up octagon, I have to know, do you want solutions or do you want someone to listen to you? And that basically avoids every potential fight in the scenario.
Dudes are solution guys.
Yeah, when somebody comes to us with a problem, usually, like if a dude comes to us with a problem, we want a solution.
Yeah.
Some women, most of the time, just want to be listened to. They want to be held, be like, oh, that sucks. Let's change the channel. It's
Listen, I've known many women that go to the instantaneous leaky eye hole moments at any time they're getting kind of frustration or
eye hole moments.
I'm like, what the hell? I'm serious. Like, oh my God.
Well, if they're very good looking, that basically automatically got them attention and people trying to solve their problems growing up.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the meat caser box.